stage now is Syvertsen. Kai has been a Toastmaster for 2 years. He is on speech number 8, and it is entitled, Get Comfortable.
With visual aids.
I'm just confirming. It is entitled, and it is on the speech objective, to get comfortable with visual aids. Kai, in his profession, is a psychologist, and he enjoys sailing. How many of you would have thought Kai enjoys sailing? But I think some of us might have remembered, because he did give a speech a while back where he almost got lost sailing. Something he enjoys outside of the club, Kai ran a half marathon, and he enjoys continuing to run a half marathon every Sunday. Are you ready?
Just last Sunday.
Just this last Sunday?
Yeah, I ran a half marathon. So if you see me hobbling around up here, it's because I'm still recovering.
That's why he's so fit. You ready?
Well, this needs to be ready.
While he gets ready, I see Ju smiling, ready to make us laugh out loud. Ju, do you think you can?
No, that's Jeff's role.
No. 1, you are ready.
We're ready.
Please welcome Syvertsen, giving his speech number 8, Getting Comfortable with Visual Aids. Kai?
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Before we get started tonight, I'd like a show of hands right now for how many of you would like to be in this Caribbean, warm, beautiful, tropical location right about now. Just moments away from the soggy dollar bar, just maybe sitting on one of these chairs right here.
I live up there.
Well, yes, I would too. And what I'd like to talk to you tonight about is something I'm very excited about, and it's about an quixotic dream. And that dream is something that was born back in college with my roommate decades ago, it feels like at this point. But it was a dream to get a sailboat and sail around the world and have adventure at every port. Well, over the years, that dream has kind of changed, and I got married and so forth. But all of a sudden now, it's becoming much more realistic. It's becoming much more possible as we get closer to the time. And so the title of my speech tonight is The Adventure, BHAG Revisited. And so I'd like to ask you guys, who here remembers what BHAG means? I gave a speech on it like 2 months ago, so this is a quiz. Peter?
Big, hairy, aggressive goal.
Ah, close. Big, hairy, audacious goal. Yes, so my wife and I have created this big, hairy, audacious goal, which is a goal that's large in scope, that's all-encompassing, and that has amazing results for everyone involved. And our goal is to take a year sabbatical from our jobs, to get a sailboat, and to sail south as far as we can make it in a year, and end up in places like this on a regular basis. So that's our plan right now. So who would be on board on this trip? Well, the crew is my wife, Dana, my lovely wife, Dana, myself, and our dog, Jack. And Jack is, yes, a sailing dog, so he's ready to go. And you may think, where do you want to go on this trip? Well, we'd have to come down all the way from Philly down to Florida, all through the Caribbean, through past St. Kitts probably, down into South America, Central America, maybe even through the Panama Canal. Who knows? You know, as far as we can take it in a year. But then you might ask, well, what the hell makes you prepared for something like this? I mean, that's a big undertaking. Well, I'd say I was born ready. That gets a laugh. But this was actually me as a small child, and then I didn't step foot on a sailboat again for like 20 years. So we can just rule that out right there. The real reason is Dad Syvertsen, my father Paul, who was a sailor and was into sailing, but he didn't sail much when I was a kid. He didn't actually get a sailboat until I went away to graduate school in Wyoming, so I hardly got a chance to sail it. So I didn't actually get much sailing experience. But luckily, that crazy roommate I had from college who had this dream of sailing around the world invented some patents, got a lot of money, and then all of a sudden he paid for some charter sailboat trips that I got to go along, where we had a captain and so forth, and got to sail in Fiji and the Mediterranean and the Caribbean, and it was fantastic times. But I didn't learn that much about sailing. But I still have my dream of the adventure. But then I inherited the Ladre, my dad's beautiful boat, and it's an awesome boat, and it was great to learn on. And it was all about practice in the Delaware River with high tides and crazy boat traffic and barges and wind and waves. And I gave a speech about it in the beginning, and it's all been fun and games. But it's all about learning, trying to become a more competent sailor. And so there's me with Jack, and my wife got in on the deal as well, trying to learn to sail. But we realized at some point that this boat is just too small, right? There's no enclosed bathroom, there's no enclosed bedroom. Like, you cannot live on this boat for a year and not go insane. So then we decided we need to step up, we need to get another boat. So then we start our boat search, and this is very exciting, but also frustrating. So we go through and we start looking at boats. This boat, too small. This boat, too big. This boat, not seaworthy enough. This boat, beautiful, seaworthy, too expensive, can't afford it. This boat, very seaworthy, too beat up and shabby. This one, just perfect. So we found the one that was just right for us, but that's not the way it looked when we initially went to go see it. That's how it looked. But this coming Friday, we're doing the sea trial on this boat, and it might actually be in our possession now in the next week or two, so we're very excited. So you might say, so, you have a year and you're sailing around the Caribbean. What are you going to do with your time? Well, I think you can imagine some of the things that you do with your time, but I think most importantly, I want to become a more proficient sailor. Sailing in the Delaware River is one thing, but sailing out in open ocean, blue water cruising, that's a whole nother can of worms right there. But most of the time will be spent diving around, floating in beautiful waters, doing some fishing, hopefully some catching, eating the bounty of the sea. I mean, it's just going to be, you're going to be in touch with nature out there, going for hikes in lush rainforests, visiting waterfalls, doing some surfing. I'm a surfer, so I'm going to bring my surfboards on board, and occasionally we'll get an opportunity for that. Maybe Dana will even get in on the deal. And then also kiteboarding. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but this is where you have a kite that you fly in the air, you attach yourself to a wakeboard, and you go flying around. And it's very exciting and dangerous, but there's me. We hope to incorporate that somehow into this adventure. Of course, snorkeling, and then visiting all the beautiful animals of the sea. I mean, you get to see, there's me harassing a manta ray, and some turtles, and dolphins. And then also it's fun because your boat is your house, your dinghy is your car. So this is your means of transportation when you're at anchor. You're traveling around, having lots of fun. This is a bar down in the British Virgin Islands that you can only get to by dinghy. It's in an old pirate ship. And so everyone just comes and hangs out at this bar. So it's lots of fun times. But the most important thing, I think, of this cruise and this adventure is hanging out with friends we meet cruising and locals along the way and having fun, maybe a cocktail or two. But it's not all fun and games, right? Sailing is dangerous and treacherous, and you run into squalls and you can die. So you do have to be prepared. And aside from just the danger involved in it, there's also just the foul weather. You know, it's not beautiful sunny days every day, even down in the Caribbean. And, you know, it can really wear on you. Also living in a very small boat, eating probably canned food a lot of the time. It's not always tuna and lobsters. And it's constant work. You're always hauling in some anchor, tying off some line, doing other manual stuff, and then the maintenance on the boat, scraping and painting and cleaning. It's just nonstop. And then here's me climbing the mast because something fell off the top. Here's me swimming the Delaware River to clean a line out from the propeller that got jammed in there. So it's like, it's not just all fun and games, although I'd like to think it's a lot of fun. So tonight, I'd like to leave you with the idea that I think everyone should probably have some kind of BHAG. This is mine. I'm really hoping that it happens, and I hope I can inspire people. I love these pictures, and I love showing them to people. So I'm going to leave you with this quote from Mark Twain, where he says, "In 20 years, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did do." And I believe that very much. Madam Toastmaster.
Good job. Thank you, Kai.